Let's podcast alongside Demetri Ravanos. I'm Joe Ovies. Joe Giglio is on assignment. We are inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management. Demetri, this is the first time you've been in studio with us, and you've seen this bad boy. This old Metaphone. This should take you back to Curtis Media because I'm pretty sure
they still have them there.
They still have these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, they're still stuck in like 1989.
Yeah.
If you are in that situation, call Copiers Plus. You modernize. Get your stuff to the cloud, man.
Yeah.
But it's always Rocktober here.
Shout out to Rocktober and Curtis Media. When I was still working at Curtis Media at 96 Rock, I suggested that the last third of the year, we go from September to, hang on, we're not done, to Rocktober, to November, to AC December.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Right? Can you believe we didn't do it?
Well, it's too late now.
No, it is too late now.
Remember, classic rock is now completely different. Although you could do...
November.
You could do November, yes.
Right.
That's actually a thing you could do. That is definitely a thing that you could do. Apologies, my voice is a little froggy. I was in Philadelphia for a youth hockey tournament. I got a little rambunctious.
Go Birds.
Well, about that. It's funny. You and I were talking about this before we hit record. There's a funny thing about youth sports, right?
Sure.
When you start getting invested in what your kids are doing, it does recalibrate you,
right?
In terms of you get really mad about stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, well, wait a minute. Like my kids got to a championship game. They lost in a shootout. And this all ties back to a little story time on this trip. It's 5:30 in the morning on Sunday at a Wawa.
Right. God, that's about as Philadelphia as you could start a story.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. And this old man decked in Phillies gear.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
After they just lost, but he's still repping his team, man.
Right.
And he's looking at me. He's looking at my kid. He's looking at Jacob's teammate. And, they're wearing their junior cane stuff. And because Jacob, nothing's open except for a Wawa at 5:30 in the morning by the Oaks rink, right in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. And he's getting his stuff. And the guy looks at me. He's like, oh, canes. Got one over on the Flyers the other night. It was on Saturday night. I go, yeah, overtime, whatever. And he goes, well, all right. Well, I didn't like that, but I hope you guys do well today. I'm like, thank you for that. And he just kept talking at me. He's like, I got 8 grandchildren.
Now we've crossed over from, is this Philadelphia or just old man?
It's old man. I got 8 grandchildren. I told them all the same thing. There's no need to cry as long as you try.
Ooh, very good.
Jacob looks at his teammate and he goes, that's a bar. I was like, it kind of is. And that was actually the nicest thing a Philadelphia fan said the entire time I was there because, me, I have an illness.
Right. You have to provoke.
Thursday, I'm driving into Philadelphia area. And I finally get into, it's Friday. I'm driving around to various rinks and I'm listening to WIP.
Oh, sure.
Mind you, it is Friday after the Phillies get knocked out of the Major League Baseball playoffs. The Eagles get embarrassed on Thursday Night Football. Straight embarrassed. And then the Flyers lost. That was just the cherry on top of the crap sandwich that they ended up having.
And for folks not versed in sports talk radio, WIP did not invent taking phone calls, but they perfected it, baby.
And I'm glad you put it that way because I have said multiple times on this show that New York sports fandom has gotten soft.
Yeah. Philadelphia has not.
Never gotten soft.
So one of my good friends in the industry actually runs WIP.
Is this what, Spike X?
No. Spike is now just the afternoon show. No, this guy's name is Rod Lakin.
Okay.
And Sally and I, a few years ago, we just did a weekend getaway in Philly. And he had me, come over to check out their digs and everything. And while I was there, on the air, a caller calls in to complain about something Joel Embiid did or didn't do.
Of course.
Gets in a wreck in the middle of this call.
Yeah.
And you can hear him tell the guy he's in a wreck with, give me 1 second. And he keeps going on.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, that's
Philly fan.
Sports Radio.
That's Philly Sports Radio. And you're all probably wondering, all right, Ovies, where are you going with this? Follow me here. Because I think this is important as we transition over to the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing them rip everybody. And the focus ends up being on Nick. They just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And there are so many callers going, hey, I'm Nick Sirianni. I won a Super Bowl. yo, screw you. You suck. You don't even know what you're doing. You should fire. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm realizing I'm sitting here recalibrating my own, like, you know what? The boys did well. You know, they got to this title game. They lost in a shootout. They did well. And I'm looking at the Panthers score, right? Because I watched the first half in the rink bar of the football game in the rink bar. And I was like, you know what? Good for the Panthers. You know, they look like a competent football team. They're 3-3. And then I'm like thinking about this. I'm having all these jumbled thoughts. I'm going, so hold up. There was a Panthers podcast that straight up quit because they couldn't handle them losing anymore.
Pretended to quit, but go.
Well, I know what you mean. Shout out to Meow Mix, right? So Meow Mix gets in the headlines as this fan podcast, and they quit because we can't waste our Sundays anymore watching this Panthers team. Mind you, the Panthers are now 2-0 since they quit.
That's right.
And they're 3-0 at home, and they're now 3-3 on the season. Put a pin in that because this is a very, very important part. And I'm thinking to myself, man, how soft are we? How soft are we when it comes to talking? Because even I've said, like, what's the point of talking about the Panthers at this point? And then you go to Philly and you're listening to WIP and they are relentless. In fact, if the Eagles suck, more podcasts would start.
Right.
If the Phillies suck, more podcasts would start. It's just like, no. It fuels you to be mad. And it's like this completely different mindset. And it makes me go, they are built different. Yeah. And we are built different than that. So
let me defend Philly fans for a second as it relates to, because this is something that drives me nuts. I don't think Dave Canales is a good coach.
We'll get to that.
I think Dave Canales has more than overstayed his welcome at this point. But the difference is, and this is why I have some empathy for Philly fans. The difference is the Panthers, the players, get up for Dave. The Eagles players clearly don't like Nick Sirianni.
And they just won a Super Bowl.
Right. They clearly hate that man.
Yes.
So it'd be very easy to justify getting rid of him in a way that maybe wouldn't be easy to justify getting rid of Dave.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Now, about the Panthers. The sports phone lit up, by the way, for the Panthers. We'll get to some sports phone calls here in a second. But as I mentioned, they're 2-0 since Meow Mix quit.
Yep.
Or pretend quit, as Demetri says. You said it, not me. I'm with you, though.
I'll stand by it.
I'm with you on that one. They're 3-0 at home, which, cool. This is what competent football teams do. You win at home, you lose on the road. I also think, too, that what I'll give the Panthers here, you give them credit. You know, you can say what you want about Rico Dowdle, who has been, Bryce Young discourse aside, he's the reason why these last 2 weeks have gone the way that they've gone. What is it, 473 yards of total offense?
Yeah, something like that.
Something insane.
I mean, he had I told Lard, the touchdown last week, the way it was just like a 1 yard dive. Very photogenic, the way he, twists himself into the end zone. And then this week, like that touchdown catch, that was Rico Dowdle on full display.
On top of the fact that he's doing it to the boys.
Right.
And there's the story there about, hey, man, I gave you my thing. You didn't want me. Fine, I'll be a backup here. And then, he says buckled up, and he follows through. So the Panthers have gone up against two bad run defenses. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins, I think, were 30th when they saw them. I want to say Dallas is dead last.
No, Dallas is dead last in passing. They were 23rd in against the run. I would say, though, Dowdle got significantly more yards in the passing game.
Ding. Yeah. Thank you. I knew there was something about the defense that made me go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So you give the Panthers a lot of credit for going out there and executing against bad defenses. But now we've hit the true litmus test about this Panthers squad, have we not? Because
when you first said this, I thought, they should run over this team. And then it clicked why.
On the road. They go to the Jets.
So after the game yesterday, I looked at the remaining schedule to try and recalibrate what I think is possible at the top end for this team. And I came away looking at the schedule going, there are 5 winnable, not like definite win, but 5 winnable games left on this schedule.
Sure.
And then I had the thought that you just said, on the road. And I looked at those 5 winnable games and only one of them is at home. So I am revising my top level down to 4-13.
So the reason why I say this is a true litmus test of where Dave Canales is and, what happens if they lose to the Jets, what are we doing here? The Jets offense is putrid.
Awful.
It is disgusting. They have no offensive line play. And say what you want about the Panthers defense. We kind of understood that the Dallas game was going to be a shootout. Mm-hmm. If they were going to win that game at home, it had to be a shootout. Because Dallas, say what you want about the defense, They're very good offensively. Dak Prescott had been on one so far.
Dak is having a year with like getting the ball out of his hands that like will be the polar opposite when they face the Jets.
Now, I think the Dak Prescott MVP discussion, or however you want to, early MVP discussion
silly,
goes.
Right?
It's silly, and especially silly when you have them losing to the Panthers, number one, number two. Have you watched what Baker Mayfield's been doing lately, right?
Right.
So that he kind of has entered the conversation. Regardless, we recognize that Dallas is a good offense. You had to win that game in a shootout. That is not the Jets game on the road.
No, if you watched or if you missed, I guess probably the morning game from London yesterday on 4th down for the game. First of all, the Jets get no protection from the Broncos pass rush. And rather than just try and get the ball out and make a play, Fields on 4th down, knowing that if they turn it over here, they lose the game, just ate the sack.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been a Justin Fields apologist, thinking it would come around for a long time.
Like, you can't beat the Jets. Like,
it's
once
just
you go
not
into
happening.
Once you go into the Jets slipstream, it's over for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. Here I was like, all right, old man, get out of my freaking timeline. Now, it helps that their division is awful.
Right.
But still, he's looked somewhat competent. Like, it's almost like leaving the Jets. Oh, look at that. Like, look at leaving the Jets. It seems to be fine. Now, so all this is to say that as much as you can look at the Panthers and you give them credit for looking finally like a competent football team, we now get to the next level of this. Competent football teams go on the road and they beat awful teams like the Jets. Are the Jets now the one winless team?
Do the Saints have a win?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Saints have a win. Let me double check on that one. A little live fact check.
Live Googling.
Live fact check. Yeah, they're 0-6. I believe they're the only 0-6 team right now. Everybody else has at least one win. So shout out to the Jets, the lone winless team in the NFL. So again, I present this to you to reiterate my point.
Yeah.
Dave Canales, buddy, if you're going to show that this thing is being built brick by brick, this upcoming weekend is it. Now, the other thing that I think is interesting about this game, again, I'll go back to Rico Dowdle. I think he has been the story the last couple of weeks. But of course, we are discussing the NFL. We are discussing the Panthers. Therefore, we have to have the hottest take possible coming out of a win or a loss about Bryce Young.
Right.
And I will admit, when I walked into the Iceline pub awaiting a game, like, let me watch some Panthers football, the first thing I see when I walk in is an interception.
Right. Interception that is Tedero and McMillan's fault 100%.
And then they go and they get to, 10-3 after that. And at first I'm like, here we go. Bryce Young. I'm like, and then I watched the replay because I'm like walking them. It's all discombobulated. And yes. Now, to Tedero and McMillan's credit, he finally got on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. Twice.
He continues to be the most reliable, trustworthy receiver they have. But these are rookie mistakes that you're gonna live and die with. So
my point in saying Tedero and McMillan's fault is just like, even when things are going great for Bryce, they are never going great for Bryce.
And that ends up becoming the discussion around, well, what are you watching? Now, you can look at the box score and say, well, it wasn't overwhelmingly great. However, in what ended up being a shootout, and when you need him to make throws, you give him, he made some damn throws.
Yeah.
That's what you want. He's never going to live up to the first pick in the draft billing.
No,
you have to remove that from the conversation and simply ask yourself, is this a guy who we put a size, whatever, it doesn't matter. He doesn't get hurt. Despite all those kinds of things, he doesn't get hurt. He seems to have a bit of a resiliency around him with all the things that could go wrong for him, even his own mistakes. The last 2 weeks has shown you at least an ability to bounce back. And when you need him to make a throw, he has been able to make a throw. So then it becomes all right, if you have something and you still have this rookie contract, can you do enough in a quick amount of time to put a better defense around him and, of course, more playmakers around him to see if you can finally make a go and make the playoffs? That's kind of where we're at with Bryce Young.
Agreed. And some of this is, and I've said this on This Team Is Killing Us every Thursday here on OG Triangle Media.
Cross-marketing.
I've said this on that show before. I don't quite know how to feel about Dan Morgan as a GM, because certainly he recognizes what the problems are. And when it comes to late round and undrafted rookies, he seems to hit more often than he doesn't. But sometimes when he goes out into the free agent market, he has one guy in mind that he's all in on. And this year that seemed to be Trayvon Morin, or Morin, however you pronounce his last name. And everything else is about who is willing to come here, who from the top end is willing to come here. And I don't feel like Christian Roseboom is a great example. we had to have been able to do better than that in the market at middle linebacker, right? But so I question just how much can they take advantage of a quarterback on a rookie contract with an inexperienced GM. That being said, it's like being in a shooting slump. How do you get out of it? Well, you keep shooting.
Yeah.
Right? Like you keep looking at these guys and evaluating and figuring out what the way to go is. I think that Bryce, to your point about he makes throws when you need him to. I saw PFF graded him a 79.6, which is way above average with the PFF grades. For everything after the Panthers were down 17-0 to Miami.
He was like a perfect grade, right?
119 something passer rating, which is close to as good as it can be. But you can't dismiss how they got to 17.
Thank you. That's
and this is coming from the biggest Bryce Young apologist in the world.
And I think that's where my frustration starts to bubble up when we talk about the Panthers and Bryce Young. And this, I think there's online brain rot that occurs with this. You know, and we see this in the offseason. And Giglio and I make fun of this all the time. It's like you see like the tape eaters on social media, and they're like, nobody in the NFL had a better fourth quarter than Bryce Young on 3rd and 18 situations. And it's like, well, why were they in a 3rd and 18 situation? Yes, because he took a sack he should not have taken.
Yeah.
Or, he's got X amount of comeback. And I'm like, right. So why did they have to come back? Oh, yes, because he was, not in this game, but in other games, a key part why they were down.
That's what I mean by even when it's all going Bryce's way, it's never all going Bryce's way. Because you think about the interception he threw against Miami, which I think was a worse mistake than the fumble, as bad as the fumble was. This one, like he put it right where it needed to be to Tedero McMillan, but he can't control when T-Mac gets his hands up or how it hits him in the chest or whatever the case may be. And it just didn't go his way. I am not out on Bryce Young as the starting quarterback of this team. I am now at a point where I get why you are,
Yeah.
I get why you are, and I get that I can't change your mind.
But what I think is really going on here, to get back to the start, it's Dave Canales who really is going to be under the spotlight.
Well, he should be. He's not a good coach.
And that's going to present itself on Sunday at the Jets. That's the game that I think will decide how people will feel about Dave Canales going forward.
Well, the good news for Dave Canales is Aaron Glenn is also not a good coach.
Buddy.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
The OG Sports Phone brought to you by our friends at Nature's Relief. Check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com, RELEAF hempstore.com. I get questions from a lot of people about like, oh, well, you can't get like the real stuff in North Carolina. No, you can. It's just the terms are a little bit different for legal reasons, but no, it's the real stuff. It just has to be called THCA. Okay. Right. And there's certain weight I don't know. It gets all scientific. The bottom line is Nature's Relief has the good stuff.
AP English and Physics for the win.
So if you would like to melt into your couch, they got the stuff that can help you melt into the couch.
Right.
Or take the edge off if you're a Philly fan.
Friends, why be down when you can be high?
Hell yeah. Let's go to the sports phone. You all know the number. I logged in this morning to the Google Voice and I was like, oh, damn. People hype about the Panthers. Go to a 618.
Hey, Joe and Joe. This is Josh in Hawaii. Coming off this Panthers win, the first thing I thought of was the last time the Panthers beat the Cowboys in Charlotte. I was 10 years old, watching on TV on Fox. John Madden and Pat Summerall were calling the game, and they were playing at Ericsson Stadium. Just for some time perspective. Have a good day, boys. Go Panthers.
First of all, mahalo, brother. What a weekend for him. Like the Bows looking dominant this weekend. We have all kinds of history this week because this is the first time since November 10th of 2021 the Panthers have been 500.
It's insane.
And if they win this week, it will be the first time since October 10th of 2021 that they've been above 500.
That's crazy. That's crazy. The other thing to keep an eye on, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, this is from Clarence Hill Jr., who covers the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones not talking today after the game. Jerry skipping out on an opportunity to talk. Dude, who's the defensive coordinator?
Matt Eberflus.
Ooh, Carolina Reaper might be making an appearance this week.
Yeah, I agree.
The Reaper's already done the damage to Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, the Dolphins went up and gagged up again.
Yeah.
You know, and Tua's like, well, I don't know why people weren't listening in a players-only meeting, because you suck. It's time to hit the reset button on that entire franchise, okay? Another Alabama guy just not getting it done.
No.
Demetri, geez. What's up with your quarterbacks, man?
We're a defensive school. Actually, to be fair, we're a gymnastics school. Like, why are you putting such pressure on us, on our football team?
How's Nate Oates with Ken Palm right now?
23. Is that what I saw?
I don't know about that. But yeah, so the Carolina Reaper might be making an appearance this week. Just saying.
Agreed.
Just saying. All right, to a 919.
Hello, G. Courtesy driver. Calling on Sunday afternoon. Thoughts on the Panthers game? Congratulations to the Panthers. Amazing. Apparently you don't want to come to Charlotte and play them right now. Is Dowdle the new version of Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers, considering his stats with rushing and receiving? And boy, oh boy, all the hot takes tomorrow on the Dallas Cowboys coming to Charlotte and losing. Sports radio and TV shows are going to be on fire on that. Thank you as always, and have a good night. Look forward to the new shows this week.
How many sports talk radio stations are in Dallas now?
Now we're down to 2.
Oh, it's just down to 2 now?
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of podcasts.
It's true.
There's a lot of podcasts out there. Curtis is right. They're going to be, obviously, it's 9:43 in the morning. I have not watched any ESPN or First Take, but I'm sure the clips will be coming out hot and heavy today.
Is Rico Dowdle the new Christian McCaffrey? No, because Rico Dowdle stays on the field.
All right, 2828.
Trust the damn process. Tired of all these conversations about Dave Canales and number 9. Trust the damn process. Let's let this thing play out. See what the heck happens. Canales is in his second year. Calm your ass down. Give him a shot. Number 9, of course, he's made some really, really crazy bonehead stuff. But damn, what else are we going to do? Stick with him, and let's just see what the heck happens. Tired of these conversations. Trust the process. Both of them today. Huge credit to what we're doing right now. Let's just see what happens one game at a time. Not worried about the playoffs. We're on to New York. Let's go. Also, can we start talking about replacements for DD? I need to start that conversation. That process is broken all trust, so I was just curious. Can we start talking about who we can start eyeballing at this point? All right, thanks.
That was quite a journey, right?
It was.
You will get to the Dave Doran.
I really like his own transition sound.
Yeah,
very poor Panther.
I have to save the voice. I can't go full.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
So, look, I trust the process. I mean, I think people have been somewhat patient with what they've seen so far, but also part of that process, I'll repeat myself, part of that process is how do they go on the road against a bad Jets team?
I would also add, and this is, all right, so Lauren and I have debated this on This Team Is Killing Us. I am of the belief that this is the NFL. We're not program building. If it's obviously not happening, you move on.
Yep. I'm with you on that. To a 704.
Boy. Hey, guys, it's Paul. 2 wins in a row? 2 wins in a row before, week 15? What? A 500 record for the first time since 2021? What? Bryce Young playing well? Because that interception was not his fault. Tedero McMillan making up for that interception with 2 touchdowns? Rico Dowdle kicking ass? Which the Panthers will not re-sign him at the end of the year. I promise you that, which is going to suck. But, hey, enjoy him while he's here. Hey, don't look now, boys. Don't look now. The Panthers, are we back up? Are we back up? Also, Panthers protect that house, baby. I love to see the players tweeting out, protect the bank. I'm glad that protect the bank is back. Oh, So good. So good. I'm still not getting my hopes up. They'll probably only win like 6 games. But hey, this is vast improvement. This is exactly what we wanted from them. 3-3 through week 6. Incredible. Incredible.
So about Rico Dowdle, thank you, Paul, for the call. As you mentioned, they signed Chuba Hubbard to a long-term deal.
Right.
Rico was brought here on a backup contract. He's not going to be here next year.
On a backup contract because Jonathan Brooks is not available this year.
Yeah. So Dowdle's making himself some fucking money.
Yeah.
Which good for him, man. It's a great story. Straight up great story. But here's the question. I'm not concerned about the whole Rico Dowdle future in Carolina. I'm more about Rico Dowdle now.
Right. Like, let's remember, Rico Dowdle is 27. That's young, but by NFL running back standards, he's about to hit the expiration date.
So if Chuba is hurt, there is no reason to rush him back if Dowdle is hot.
Yeah.
Play the hot hand until he's no longer hot. Don't rush Chuba back in. I'm not ready to make any sort of designation on, well, here's our future running back. No. Smart coaches say, fine, I'm going to play the high hand here.
Yeah.
And if Chuba doesn't need to be back on the field, he does not need to be back on the field. So I'll be curious to see how they handle that.
I will say it is clear they need Chuba back, even if they make Dowdle the 1A or they make it a 50-50 situation, because when they go to Etienne is just not able to do it.
It's not there. 2919.
What's up, guys? It's Will from Smithfield here. Just watched the Panthers finish up another win to be undefeated at home, 3-3 on the season. Look, very fun. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's been fun watching Panthers football for 2 weeks in a row. And, what does it mean for the rest of the season? Again, as I've said before, I don't know. We just take it 1 week at a time because, look, it's been cool. It's been fun seeing this. They've competed. We've seen the offense step up, including Bryce Young, who I've been super critical of. He played well at crunch time. When they needed to, the offense went down the field and scored. And yeah, it hasn't been against great teams, but you play who you're scheduled, and they've taken advantage, something they haven't done in years. So very cool to see. And last thing, I thought of Giglio when I heard Greg Olsen saying during the broadcast that the Panthers needed to get better at passing out of or being lined up at the line of scrimmage. That they seemed to do better out of the gun, but they needed to get lined up under center, and they needed to do better at under center passing the ball. And I know Giglio talked about that a couple of years ago, that he wanted to see Bryce Young more under center. So I thought about that. Greg Olsen, Giglio on the same wavelength there. All right, cool. Panthers win. It's fun. NC State stinks, but whatever. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Dave Dorn continues this year. It's been an amazing phenomenon in which when we talk about the pro teams,
right,
the Carolina Hurricanes or the Carolina Panthers, you're still going to have people that go, all right, now Dave Dorn. It is quite a year that Dave Dorn is having, which again, we'll get to that here in a little bit. Also, Greg Olsen and Joe Giglio share one thing. Amazing hair.
Amazing hair.
Amazing hair.
Although the first time they showed Greg and Adam Amin in the booth on Sunday, Greg Olsen looked like those Bugs Bunny cartoons where a cigar explodes in his face.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I can't speak to is the third leg. That I can't speak to. 910.
14-3 is still on the goddamn table.
Not wrong.
Stop it. Stop it. Just stop. Stop. All right, one more.
Hey, Joe and Joe. Joe from Asheville calling, riding back west after watching the Carolina Panthers walk it off against the Dallas Cowboys, sending all the Cowboys fans home back to the Walmarts that they got all those jerseys from in Gastonia, Walmart, or wherever they got them. But anyways, 3 main thoughts, 3 takeaways from today's game and the last few weeks. First off, Rico Dowdle, enough said. Asheville, NC, represent AC Reynolds High School. He's just a dog. Absolute stud. He's been running the ball unbelievably the last 2 weeks. Takeaway 2, the front 7 of this defense looked outstanding today. Javonte Williams, former Tar Heel, yuck. He was a non-factor at all today. That was one of the top rushing attacks coming in. So kudos to the defense for stepping up. And even though George Pickens did what he does, still able to hang in there. And then let's give Bryce Young some flowers. I've been as frustrated as anybody watching him play the last few years. The ups and downs, roller coaster season this year. But he's doing what needs to be done in critical situations. So shout out Bryce Young today, battling through a little bit of early adversity. Shout out Bryce Young. And with all that being said, I am absolutely dreading this Jets game coming up because this is a roller coaster of a season. And if there's another down spot, that's a big one. But let's guys keep out.
So yeah, that basically just kind of encapsulates what's next here. And yeah, credit to the defense, and Pickens is going to get his.
Yeah.
But you're not seeing that next week.
Yeah, agreed.
You're just not seeing that next week.
Agreed. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I don't feel a lot of stress about next week, but it is largely because I just got done watching the Jets.
Fair point. It's funny, I'm so discombobulated that I don't even know the show format today. Apologies. Let me hit the right one.
Housekeeping.
There it is. Let's do a little housekeeping. It's brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
Ask you a question doing this live on air.
Okay.
How many ads do we have to get through right here? How many corporate champions?
We have 12 today.
No. I mean, in this particular break.
Typically the way it works is I do anywhere between 4 to 5, depending on the structure of the show.
I'm going to go poop right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I can't hold it anymore.
I thought I left the 14-year-olds, and here I am dealing with one. Anyway, live to tape, folks. Big thanks to Breaking Tea. Check them out online at breakingtea.com/OG. That's where we've got our dead logos for a dead radio show collection, like the Ice Caps one, the Cougars, which is, chef's kiss on that one, Skyhawks, all that kind of fun stuff. Breaking Tea's got hoodies, all that kind of stuff. If you click on our referral link in the YouTube and podcast description, you can go from there and then go check out the Carolina Hurricanes collections as well. We got a shirt for the Carolina Hurricanes that say like says keep Carolina hockey boring, because you know how that discussion is going to be the rest of the year. So go buy those shirts, hoodies, and everything else. We get a little bit of a referral. We get some referral cash on that. So that's money in our pocket, which we appreciate. So go to breakingtea.com/OG. Speaking of money in our pocket, that's what the YouTube membership channel is for. We've got the mailbag every Friday. Demetri and I, when he's not going to the bathroom in the middle of a show, we do the OG business, where we get into the nitty gritty of the sports business, ratings, shows, gossip, all that kind of stuff. Why things are playing out the way they are in the industry. For some reason, Demetri and I find this kind of stuff interesting. We have these conversations all the time. Y'all apparently find it interesting too. So we put it up there on OG Business on our YouTube membership channel. It's just $5 a month plus tax. So go check that out. There's a join button on the YouTube. You got subscribe, which most of you are subscribed. We appreciate that. And then there's a button next to that says join. Click that. It's $5. You also get some extras like a little badges that show you that you're part of the YouTube membership channel, custom emoji sets and things like that you can use in the chat. It's all there at the YouTube channel. And as I mentioned with YouTube and podcast, something I have not asked in a while, and this is why we do it in housekeeping, a reminder for myself and a reminder for you, especially if you're new to the podcast. I know we're getting new listeners all the time. I know this because I can look at the numbers and unique listeners and things like that and everything else. So if you are new to the podcast and you've been enjoying it, help us out. Rate it. Give us 5 stars. 5 stars only. Positive vibes only. Want to leave a review? That helps as well. Leave a review on your favorite podcast app. All those things help with the algorithm. All those things help with discovery, which in our world is probably the most difficult thing to do. Anybody can podcast on a Monday. It's a matter of finding these podcasts oftentimes, and people might not realize it. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And they check it out. They get it. They get into it. So 5 stars only, positive vibes only. And of course, leave a review if you feel so inclined. Big thanks to Rhoback. Check them out online at rhoback.com. Yes, I have the layering jacket on today. I got to order the brown one. I'm like wearing this one into the ground. So I'm going to order the brown one. I'm very excited about that. So Look, Roback's coming out with new stuff all the time. Yes, the shorts are money. Their pants are great. Y'all see us wearing the hoodies all the time. The polo prints, always second to none in terms of their designs. But they're coming out with new gear all the time. So go check them out, roback.com. If you haven't used a promo code yet, do it today at OG20 or use the promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. Speaking of saving money, big thanks to our friend Matt Davis over at State Farm. InsureGarner.com or call him directly at 919-779-8277. You have probably not thought about your insurance in quite some time. It's like one of those set it, forget it type situations. Call. Just have a conversation. See how much money you could be saving. You'd be surprised. So 919-779-8277. Big thanks to Hometown Realty. Speaking of your home, maybe you've outgrown your home. Maybe, you got to move. I mean, there are any number of reasons why. Contact our friends at Hometown Realty, myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. Maybe you're like, you know what? I want to live next to a longleaf. Tell them that, and they'll find a house for you. Buy a longleaf. Big thanks to longleafswine.com. They got their new location opening up over in the Sawmill Tap Room area, in the old Sawmill Tap Room. And, of course, they're sharing space with our friends at Two Roosters. Check them out online at Two Roosters. Relax for a second. TwoRoosters.com. You might be like me, power through crew. Like if I had Two Roosters now, Demetri would be the ones having to do all these types of things. I joke. No, Two Roosters is here. October flavors. More importantly, the Canes are back, meaning they're back in the building. The Slave and Sunday is the best. Slave and Sunday is the best deal. And they got the little hockey puck. I'm kind of mad that I missed out last week for the home opener, because we were at the local. Shout out to Hayes and Chip for filling in with Giglio. And they brought the little hockey pucks. Mm-hmm. So jealous I didn't get to try one. I'm going to have to go do it myself.
I was about to say, we got a whole season in front of us.
Got to do it myself. Go to tworoosters.com. Everything come out okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Let's continue, shall we? Now, somewhere.
That's why we're live to tape.
Good point. Somewhere the life coach should be very disappointed in you. Much like NC State fans. I don't even know if State fans are disappointed anymore.
I mean, at this point in the season, you kind of expect it, right? So,
it's funny. You texted me yesterday while I was driving back.
Yeah.
And you're like, do I need to watch the condensed version of this NC State Notre Dame game? And I told you, no. What's the point?
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
My son had a basketball game right at 3:45, so I didn't even bother starting an afternoon game of any sort.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the hotel lobby trying to find it. I'm like, oh shit, it's Peacock.
Right? And I even have Peacock. That's why I'm able to watch
Peacock. And I'm like, well, fine, I'll go watch Florida State stumble over itself and lose to Pitt. I'll do that instead. Which is what we'll get to that Florida State. I think Florida State and Pitt is important to this conversation. I think I said to you, because I think I called you on the road and I said, dude, it was a scheduled loss.
Yeah.
Everybody knew this was going to happen. Everybody looked at this. That's why people were like, even me, I was like, hey, there was a chance for you to be 6-0 when you got to Notre Dame. Nobody expects you to win that game. Right. The point is, you could have been 6-1 coming out of the Notre Dame game with winnable games on the schedule the rest of the way, rather than go in scramble mode to make a bowl, which I still think is in play, even though everybody's out on Dave Dorn. That's why I was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I kind of knew what this game was going to be. And a lot of the sports phone calls were the same way from a 910.
You can't hurt me anymore, Dave. I didn't even pay the money to watch the game on Peacock, because I'm not going to sit there and watch another lackadaisical, boneheaded coach football team. What a disgusting act and a fraud. 13 years. How much money have you made? Got to go, man. Got to go. Come on, Boo. Make another great hire. We love you.
Boneheaded.
I mean, come on.
It's such a mean term.
I'd give Dave a little bit more credit for the last 13
years.
I
would agree with that completely.
And then there's this as well.
Good evening, Joe and Joe. Just got to say, it's officially basketball season. 23 days left till Wade's first game. My main comment for tonight is I think State fans have lived long enough to watch ourselves become the villain, and what we always told and joked about with Carolina fans after they would lose one or two games in football is the old line, wait till basketball season.
Oh, sure.
And that's officially what it is for us State fans. We're on to basketball, and there's still half a season to go for football. So fuck Dave Doran, fuck the whole football team.
Jeez.
Defund it. Will Wade season. Let's go, baby.
I mentioned this, that I think it's amazing that it's middle of October and nobody had Duke being the one triangle football team that was going, hey, basketball can wait.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, the Cam Boozer clips, I'll wait for those. I'll wait for those.
Let me ask you a question along those lines.
Yeah.
All right. I know he would not be a top line candidate, but like, is Duke looking at another 2-and-out coach with Penn State open?
No.
Okay.
No. I'll address that in a second. I was mentioning basketball season. You want to know how it's officially basketball season?
Ken Pom, baby.
Ken Pom numbers are out, baby. This is not good for the ACC, but that's neither here nor there. Duke comes in at number 7 in Ken Pom in the initial ratings. The next best ACC team is Louisville at 14. And then you got to go into the 30s.
Yeah.
Clemson at 32, North Carolina 33, NC State at 38. Your usual suspects, the teams that you expect to be good, not so great in the Ken Pom. Virginia, we don't know anything with Ryan Odom. That hopefully will improve. Jeff Capel, my dude, I love Jeff Capel. Pitt, 63. Syracuse, what is happening? 68, right? So, I mean, heck, even
I think Syracuse is learning that they are not a basketball school. They had one good coach.
Yes, they were Jim Boeheim.
Yeah.
That's just straight up as that. Now, to the Manny Diaz thing, because that's kind of where we're at right now. The context here is that Penn State shockingly fired James Franklin on Sunday.
It feels like we have had progressively bigger, like, oh, you don't think we can pay this money firings, right? Like you go back to, was it 18 that Florida State quickly got together 22 for Willie?
But this one's different. Well, there's a couple of buyouts.
Well, this is what I was going to say. It was like 22 for Willie.
Yeah.
It was like 27 for Gus at Auburn. This one doubles that.
Yes.
More than doubles that.
Yes.
What, 56.75 million?
Although the Jimbo Fisher Texas A&M one is still
fair.
The one that's the GOAT.
God, how did I forget that one?
Dude, that's the GOAT. Like all these buyouts still don't match the Jimbo Fisher one if you think about it. That's how insane that one is. No, my question was when I saw them, I'm like, because again, I was kind of out of pocket. I'm like, the Big Ten equity deal went through.
Right.
No wonder Penn State had the money. They're like, hey, I'm going to need that money now.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. James, get out. Now, it's shocking in that we all recognize James Franklin is a very good coach, and it's a matter of when, not if, he gets another job.
I can name 2.
Put that over here.
Yeah.
We're going to get that in a second as it relates to the triangle and James Franklin. Somewhere Debbie Yow's like, I tried to tell you all.
Yeah.
Regardless, so put that there for a second. It is shocking that they didn't just let this play out. But then I guess what my thought was, because the thing about James Franklin is when you look at his overall record, he's a really good coach. And he does the thing that a lot of coaches can't even do. And this gets to the Dave Dorn stuff. And it's always been the biggest problem with Dave Dorn. You lose the games you're not supposed to lose.
Right.
James Franklin never did that until the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The thing was, James will win the games you're supposed to win. It's the games in that, like, the big game James sarcastic remark where he's like, 1-10 against AP top 10?
Yeah.
Right. He can't win the games that matter. But you need him to take care of business the rest of the year and put yourself in position for the Big Ten championship, get yourself into the college football playoff. All that's great. But then you lose to Neuheisel's kid.
Right.
And then you lose to Northwestern in back-to-back weeks. At that point, you go, nah, if you're not even doing that, get the fuck out.
I think I saw in the last 2 years, to like your point about the stat against top 10 teams.
Yeah.
I think I saw in the last 2 years, Cignetti is 3 times as good against top 10 teams as Franklin is his entire tenure at Penn State.
Thank you, because that's the other reason why. Kurt Cignetti, in 2 years at Indiana, beat Oregon.
Right.
And James Franklin could never just and James Franklin looking, dude, I'm cooked.
Yeah.
Because if he's doing it in year 2, and I've lost track of how many years James Franklin's been at Penn State, and I'm still bumping up against it.
Yeah, I have too.
I've lost track.
11, I think.
Something like that. And I keep bumping up against it. I'm cooked. It's time for, and it's, I think it's one of the, I think the surprise is Franklin's done enough at Penn State that's why I get mad at the Boo Corrigan, like, go do the right thing, Boo. Well, actually, Boo is doing the right thing. I know this is a controversial take, but Dave Dorn, relative to NC State success, has earned the ability to get to the end of the season and then figure out how they want to go about it.
So
just like I thought Penn State, he had done enough at Penn State. It's like, let's just get to the end of the year. We've taken it as far as we can take it with this combo. Now it's time for something new. So that was the surprise for me.
Well, Joe, remember mere moments ago when I said Syracuse is learning they are not a basketball school. They had one good coach.
Yeah.
Hello, Penn State football. They are not one good coach. They are one good coach in an era of college football that is not coming back. An era where an independent team had enough clout, an independent team not named Notre Dame, had enough clout to get players, schedule big-time games, get themselves to big-time bowl games. I wrote a lot because from the get-go, I was saying this Belichick thing is ridiculous at UNC, right? I wrote a lot and I heard a lot from Carolina fans. Look, I am the one guy with OG Triangle Media that came here in his 20s, did not, has no sort of formative years here. I went to a big time college football school at Alabama. I know the signs of new money in the sport when I see it. And UNC with this Belichick thing is behaving like new money, and Penn State recognizing that no matter what happens the rest of the way, this season is an absolute failure, probably the biggest of Franklin's tenure there, because there was only one acceptable outcome this year. Everybody had this team preseason 1 or 2. We were talking about Drew Aller being ready to take the next step at quarterback. We were talking about a possibly generational college football defense, and they have both fallen flat. And now Aller's done for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Whatever Franklin did the rest of the way,
didn't matter.
Forget the guys in the locker room. The guys in the locker room are always going to cape for their coach unless they just hate the man.
Agree.
The people with money have already made up their mind. What else could Penn State do?
So now the question is, who do they get? You bring up Manny Diaz.
I think
Diaz was a defensive coordinator there.
Right. I think he'd be a third-tier candidate at best.
If they get to Manny Diaz, they've run into a bunch of problems. Also, if I'm Manny Diaz, why do you want to go there?
While I agree with you, logically.
Manny's been in we were texting with Bomani, right? What do you call Penn State? A trap? I think he called it a trap. It's in terms of a job for somebody to go to. Well, Manny's already gone through that. Oh, I'm going to go down to Miami. Y'all know that's a trap.
Yeah.
Because the minute you don't produce, it's going to get toxic and you get the hell out of there. Manny, in his older age, might realize, well, I got the support here. The ACC ain't all that. So as we're witnessing, they have a legitimate shot at getting the ACC
by the way,
championship.
You want to talk about a basketball school that gets the new game in football.
So Manny's looking at the landscape and going, actually, I got it pretty good here.
Yeah.
All things considered. Why do I want to deal with that bullshit?
So I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, but I think you cannot dismiss the ego that all of these guys have. There are certain helmet schools.
But that's when so ego. We all know it's Matt Rule's job, right?
Do you think so? I think
yes.
I think it is Cignetti's job to turn down first.
No,
I think Matt Rule will end up with the job.
If you're Kurt Cignetti, why would you leave Indiana? You're already doing it, Indiana.
You're looking at it from Cignetti's point of view. No, I'm saying Penn State will go to Cignetti first.
Okay, if you're telling me, if the idea is, all right, you have to you have to make Kurt Cignetti say no.
Right.
With you on that. But Cignetti, if I'm Cignetti, I don't know what he's going to do. But if I was Kirk Cignetti and I've already done at Indiana in 2 years what James Franklin could never do at Penn State, why would I leave?
Agree with you completely. I think that they are banking on Cignetti being a Pennsylvania guy and his wife being a Pennsylvania girl, and that will rule the day. Now, listen, I have had conversations with people around Alabama's program that are doing the game theory thing. Okay, let's say Rule goes to Penn State, which seems like the most likely outcome here. Well, Kalen DeBoer is from South Dakota, which literally touches Nebraska. Nebraska.
Are you Alabama message boarding me right now?
I'm not Alabama message boarding you. I'm Alabama.
Like, how do I get out of this Kalen DeBoer crap?
No. I don't want to get out of it. I like Kalen DeBoer.
Okay.
I'm a DeBoer guy.
Okay.
But people are wondering, like, is the ego thing? Was it like, oh man, if Alabama calls, I've got to leave Washington for Alabama? And now realizing, God, it was pretty great to A, live in Seattle, and B, be anonymous in Seattle, right?
It's funny. Nick Saban went viral on game day because he talked about money.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the SEC ain't what it used to be because, everybody's just going for the money now, as if bagmen just appeared out of nowhere. Right. What I think Nick is getting wrong, we've saw it with college basketball. College basketball was the first mover on this. Why would I leave my situation where I'm handsomely paid and I can win here because of the chaos generator that is the NCAA tournament? With the expansion of the college football playoff, with the money coming in, now that we know how everything's kind of settled out, why would you chase the money to go to a place that you've got 3 to 4 years and they're going to run you out in no time? It's actually pretty nice, all things considered. And that's the thing that Penn State has to deal with. That's the thing that probably Alabama has to deal with. Although Alabama's unique. Like any conversation about college football coaching, you have to take Alabama out of the conversation because it's its own place. Because you and I both know that if Nick Saban were still there and producing these results, all those national championships didn't mean anything.
Yeah, agreed.
Nick would they'd run his ass out of town.
Yeah.
Right? So Alabama has to be taken out of the equation. So I think when it's all said and done, they'll end up with the ego play because Matt Rule, Penn State, it just seems destined and it's going to be as obnoxious as you think it's going to be. Because that's where we're headed. Okay. Although shout out to Cover 3 that said, how bad could it get? Well, Al Golden's out there somewhere.
That's very true. That's very true. No, I think
Al Golden probably just posted up say anything.
To your point about the chaos and people staying put to build something real, I think you are probably in the next few years going to start to see coordinator and assistant hires turning over much quicker than head coaches because the portal makes everything pure chaos. And if you have to rebuild your team, why not go out and rather than change course at the very, very top, why not go out and get some dudes from places where players are that might already have relationships with dudes looking for a better situation?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Now, getting back to North Carolina and Dave Doran and how this coaching cycle all plays out, these are two separate conversations. And James Franklin, this is where...
Look, let's just do the headline up top. Either one, UNC or NC State, if they came open, both of them would be very appealing to someone like James Franklin.
Which one would you want, though?
I think I would want NC State.
Why?
Because
I agree with you, but why?
For me, it is that there is more of a possibility you get the resources you need at NC State. I also think that there is something to being in the metro center of the area as opposed to Chapel Hill. Like, there are recruits in the state of North Carolina.
Sure.
I mean, there are a lot. It is building every year. James Franklin has proven to be a program builder. And I think I want to be diplomatic about this. There are cultural things about Chapel Hill that would get in the way of building a program at UNC.
There's also the matter of Carolina has shown you through this entire Bill Belichick process that they're not a serious football program where they don't understand what it takes to be a serious football program.
That's what I mean about cultural things that get in the way. I think the reason that UNC is not serious about moving on from this Belichick thing is there are enough people with enough money that still like the clout of being able to say they got Bill Belichick to Chapel Hill. I think money.
I think that's gone away. Based on my conversations, I think that's gone away. I think based on my conversations, there is you're stuck with the guy. How do you get out? Like, it's funny to tie this back into NC State and Dave Doran and all the messages that we're getting about do the right thing, Boo. And I know, again, it's not a popular opinion, but Boo is doing the right thing.
Yeah, you let him get to the end of the year.
Because let's look at this, right? I mean, Giglio and I talked about this, and I get the whole schedule watching thing. But based on what I saw between Florida State and Pitt, I'm sitting here going, okay, I pulled up the schedule on YouTube. NC State's remaining games are Pitt next on October 25th. So we got a couple weeks from that. They got an open date. So you got Pitt next, Georgia Tech at home, on the road to Miami. You host Florida State, and then you host Carolina.
So
That's 5 games to get to bowl eligibility. You're at 4 wins right now. You got your wins over ECU, Virginia, Wake, and Campbell.
I see 2 guaranteed losses on this schedule.
That's the Georgia Tech game and the Miami game.
That's right.
I am absolutely in agreement with you because people were like, oh, man, Pitt, Florida State. Oh, well, what about Florida State? What about Florida State?
What about Florida State?
Florida State is stuck with Mike Norvell.
Beating Alabama was about Gus Malzahn knowing Alabama. That's clearly what it was.
Clearly. That, and I'll give this to Bud Elliott. Speaking of Cover 3, I listened to Cover 3 on my way back from Philadelphia yesterday. And there were 2 very, very salient points about Florida State. One funny, one very much Bud Elliott.
Yeah.
Bud says, and he's absolutely right when he says this, Mike Norvell's putting rosters together like a guy who's just trying to keep a job. He's not a guy putting rosters together to build something. He's absolutely right when he says that, which is why I don't trust Florida State one bit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chip Patterson, who pointed out since Florida State has sued the ACC to get out and told the ACC, do you see what you're doing to us? You guys suck so bad. This is why we can't get in the college football playoff. They're now 1-10 against the ACC since the lawsuit.
Yeah. I will
1-10.
I will remind everybody, Mike Norvell was like literally this close to being Alabama's head coach.
Imagine the sliding doors that could have happened, the butterfly effect that could have happened with that. He would not have lasted.
No.
So that's why I look at, and another thing that Bud Elliott points out that I agree with, and why I actually am looking at the NC State home game against Florida State as a win for the Wolfpack, is because, and Bud's right when he says this, if it ain't Miami, if it ain't the bright spotlight ABC evening game, Florida State can't get up for the game.
You know, you and I, we did this show together maybe about a month ago.
Okay.
It was right at the beginning of the season, and you said that you thought this was the year that Dabo Swinney's way of building a roster would be proven to be right versus Mike Norvell's, right?
I'm talking 1 for 1, not talking about nationally. I'm talking about the great, people get mad at Dabo for the context here, that conversation that you're referencing. The context in the offseason was Mike Norvell bouncing back because he can just cycle through and get his next recruiting class or his next portal class in, and it's a year-to-year proposition, and you'll bounce back just like that. And in the first game, it certainly looked that way.
Yeah.
Whereas Dabo was positioning himself with experience, his guys, his culture, and then taking advantage of it in this ACC. As we have come to find out, that has not come to fruition.
Right. I
still give Clemson the better of the end of this, though.
Maybe, but you could always do it the Ohio State way, where you put actual money into the roster, or you could do it the Indiana way, which is you take the ego of being Florida State out of it.
Yeah.
And you look at your coach, and you look at this roster of kids that he just dominated the Sun Belt with at James Madison, and say, well, come on up, guys. You go out to California and you see a very capable quarterback in Fernando Mendoza and say, come on down. You don't do we have to get a name. So we missed on Cam Ward. We're going to DJ Uiagalelei.
Yeah.
I think ego of the Florida State booster class, which as I understand it is dwindling severely right now.
Yes.
Would not allow them to look at somebody like a Darian Mensah because he's from Tulane.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, we're going to go take another ACC team's quarterback.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And I think that Florida State is just kind of stuck in this situation right now. In the same way, well, I say North Carolina is stuck. They would only be stuck if they allow themselves to be stuck. And I got to imagine.
I don't think they're stuck. I think they're being drugged down.
Then somebody has to be an adult in the room and tell them to get out. Speaking of which, let's actually talk about Belichick a little bit, shall we? Big thanks to Whitaker and Hammer. Speaking of getting yourself out of a contract, Whitaker and Hammer could probably help you with that. They can look at those contract terms and say, all right, here's what you're going to need to do. Check them out at wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. You can even take a refinance or a home sale to close with our friends at Whitaker and Hammer. Speaking of which, racking up credit card debt because your kid plays youth hockey, travel hockey. You got a refinance to pay for hockey skates. Maybe I'm speaking from experience here.
Jacob, you better make the AHL at least.
No, man. Well, we all know that all levels lead to beer league.
Come on, Philadelphia Phantoms.
So 919-447-3377, MillerLending.com/the OG. You take that thing to close, you're going to get a Raleigh Wine Shop gift basket. The thing that I will reiterate about Miller Lending, you might think it's time to refinance for any number of reasons, but the one thing Miller Lending will do is they will be honest with you. Is it the right time to do this?
Ooh.
It might not be. You might be looking at the situations and the rates and ups and downs and things like that, and they're going to forecast it for you and say, you know what? Wait 6 months. Don't do it right now. Let's revisit this topic. They're not just going to rush you into it because they're looking to make a close and get you on closing costs, because there are no closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
So check them out online at millerlending.com/theog, or call them directly at 919-447-3377. In fact, with all the money you save with a home refinance, put that money towards some new blinds.
Yes, sir.
Automated shades, blackout curtains, all that kind of stuff. Bloomin' Blinds. Check them out online at bloominblinds.com, 919-980-9815. 10 or more window treatments, you get 10% off. And of course, they bring you the After Dark. And we're going to have some interesting After Darks the rest of the football season. So again, check them out online, bloominblinds.com, or call them directly at 919-980-9815. The Hockey Don't Sleep. Kid's got like defensive clinics today. He's got practice tonight. I'm running around. He needs a new stick. I'm going over to the NC State Fair Media Day. So this means that after I'm done with the NC State Media Fair food, I'm going to need a detox, which means it's time for Happy Hill.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
We're talking delicious smoothies. We're talking incredible bowls. We're talking an app that where you can schedule, pick it up, and go. Use that app. Use that promo code OG25 to save 25% off your order. Again, that's 25% off your order with the code OG25. We have spent a lot of time on OG Business talking about the dynamics of ESPN's College GameDay.
Why? Did something happen this week?
Yeah, it's actually happened over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
One thing that I missed out on last week, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, this was ahead of the North Carolina Clemson game. I was fixated on, and we played the clips last week, I was fixated on the fact that the ESPN set gave Bill Belichick every opportunity to help reshape what had been going on before they embarrassed themselves.
Yeah.
But Belichick did a fine enough job embarrassing himself on the Game Day set, and I thought the Game Day set also embarrassed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If I was the parent of a North Carolina player who went ham on UNC's program last week, and I'm sure Pat Welter's phone has not stopped blowing up since last week.
Yeah.
With all the reporting that he had done. And good for Pat. Pat's been through hell and back in this industry, and it's nice to see that Pat is getting some love in the last week for the work that he's been doing. That's another conversation for OG Business, if you will. That's on the paid side of things. You'll have to pay $5 for that one. Anyway, the point is that if I was a parent of a North Carolina player and Belichick is just kind of, for lack of a better term, shitting on his own team.
Right.
Thought, well, we got to get better in tackling and passing and, blah, 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 blah. And the set is cackling along with that. I'd be mad because that's embarrassing. I'd also be embarrassed for having watched the segment where they talked about Belichick and what's been going on and all the drama that's been playing out and the apologizing that's been taking place. I've always known College Game Day to be a compromised set.
Of course.
I always feel like it's an even more compromised set now because you got Pat McAfee on there, and Pat McAfee just is hell-bent on being liked by everybody.
Right.
But dude, did you watch the segment?
Oh, I was watching it live.
I was in awe. The dereliction of duty with talking about things the way that the reality of what's going on. And I know that we live in a world where people can just kind of watch the news they want to watch.
Right.
And I'm not kidding when I tell you that this played out like President Trump watching Fox News and hearing a segment he didn't like and then calling the TV show that he's watching when he should probably be doing something else. I don't know about you, but if I'm coming off embarrassing losses on national spotlight games in an open date, and I got a really dangerous game on Friday night at Cal, what do you think I'd be doing on a Saturday morning?
Yep, preparing for that game at Cal.
Apparently not Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is watching College Game Day.
Is to understand that he is completely bought into what's happening with this team and with this program. And him leaving, or the idea of him leaving.
Answer that.
I can't.
But answer that. He has to be watching right now. That's literally Bill Belichick calling Kirk Herbstreit. He probably has something to say.
Yeah. He probably does.
But every coach needs to have the opportunity to establish his culture and also to recruit his kind of players.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack with what Nick Saban just said.
Yeah, okay. Before we get there, I have a totally different read than you do on that.
Okay.
I don't think Bill Belichick was watching. I think Bill Belichick is so checked out that it doesn't even dawn on him, hey, Kirk Herbstreit probably can't answer his phone at 9:30 on a Saturday morning.
See, I think that's bullshit. Because the reason I say that is because I've experienced it with Giglio.
Sure.
Okay. We've been in the middle of live radio or now recording podcasts, and he has gotten calls from coaches.
Yeah.
I don't expect those coaches to know that we're in the middle of those types of things. College game day is a little bit of a different beast, dude.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. But you are talking about coaches that care about their job. You are talking about coaches that are brought in and trying to be better. And you are talking about coaches that do not actively resent the people giving them a paycheck.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick never wanted this fucking job.
He never wanted the job. I've been trying to tell people that he never wanted this job. And it's abundantly clear he still doesn't want to be there.
Right.
But the checks are clearing and his family's getting paid and Mike Lombardi's family's getting paid. So when I see Kirk Herbstreit saying, well, that statement tells me he's invested in this. What did you get from that statement that would lead you to believe that he's invested in the program?
Joe, dare I ask, what did you get from that statement that would make you believe Bill Belichick actually said it?
But
what would you get from that statement that makes you think it was not spit out by someone in the marketing department?
Nick Saban saying you got to establish your culture. He has established his culture.
That's the problem.
That's the problem,
Right.
man. Like what reality distortion field are you living in?
Yeah.
That you can say with a straight face on the ESPN set, I get that Bill's your boy.
Yeah.
I get that. But you cannot go on that set and say with a straight face, you got to give him time to establish his culture when his culture is literally this.
Agreed. Let me play the Saban apologist here. Not for what he said, because you're right. Like there's no denying what you said is right. Let me play the Saban apologist here in the sense that I have always believed, and you cannot shake my belief, that if we are talking about the best football coach of all time, Bill Belichick is looking up at Nick Saban.
Yes, I agree with you.
The game never passed Nick Saban by.
No.
Talent evaluation never passed Nick Saban by.
It clearly has.
The way it did Bill Belichick.
He's got to get his players. He did get his players.
He picked were not ACC caliber. And think about the low bar that is when you are promising what they promised with bringing in Bill Belichick. Think about how low of a bar that is in talent evaluation that he cannot live up to. There are so many people, be they in the media, be they in football, former players, personnel people, whatever, or be they fans, that just for whatever reason, because of all of the Super Bowl championships, they just excuse the last 3 years of Bill Belichick in New England.
Sure.
The last 3 years of Bill Belichick in New England might have been worse than Dave Canales. Could not evaluate talent.
No.
Could not call plays. Installed a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator at one point.
Also, you're so checked out when you are leaving Mike Lombardi to make talent evaluation decisions for you. I know this in talking around that to this day, Belichick is still acting like I'll let Lombardi handle it. What about Lombardi's career would give you the idea that he has a handle on it? I'm driving back from Philly. I'm catching up on podcasts and I'm listening to Bo. And he's got Danny Parkins on. And Danny Parkins said something that, gave me some PTSD of my radio days.
Danny Parkins from First Things First on FS1.
So here's the clip. If I can, I don't want YouTube Premium. No, thank you. Thank you. Here's the clip from Danny Parkins that illustrates when I say dismissively that you've allowed a failed podcaster to be the one who's getting the ingredients for your roster. What did you expect to happen? Danny Parkins, I thought I roasted Belichick last week. Danny Parkins came in with an all-timer.
We had Michael Lombardi as as a weekly contributor to the station. And when he got that job, I said on TV, Michael Lombardi's last job was weekly losing arguments to me on the radio.
How do you come back from that?
Dude, and listen, here's the like Danny on the radio is an all-time talent. Like, he is fantastic.
For those who don't know, like, you know, you always hear about like the comedian.
Yeah.
Parkins is the radio guy's radio
100%.
guy,
And he's really good
He's
at it.
Very good.
But Danny's only speaking from his perspective, right? Lombardi had a contract with Odyssey, which is a big national owner of radio stations, and sports is one of their specialties. So I want you to think about all of the people that were not at Danny Parkins' level, Joe, that it was Mike Lombardi's job to go on and lose debates to in various cities across the country. Like, Lombardi is so insanely unserious.
Yes.
In a time when, regardless of if you're North Carolina or if you're Ohio State, the role of a GM is actively being shaped in college football right now. What you do is not right, is not wrong, and yet somehow Michael Lombardi is completely wrong.
So let's go ahead and bring this thing into the barn with another clip from Game Day.
Okay.
And it's as I mean, I'm not trying to act like Game Day was 60 minutes, but what's happening?
Do you want to play a clip or do you want me to
before I play the clip, what is happening?
Okay, I think, and I have thought this for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Bringing in Pat McAfee fundamentally changed what the show is.
Of course.
Pat McAfee
Anything that he's a part of, it's a vehicle for him.
Okay, but it's not just that.
Okay.
Pat McAfee changed the show from a TV show to a live show. Pat McAfee acts on Game Day the way he does on whichever WWE show it is he calls, Raw or SmackDown.
Sure.
That show may be on television. It may get most of its viewership from the audience, but it works because they play to the people there.
Yeah.
That feeds off the energy. Game Day doesn't need that in the same way, but they are doing a show for the 1,500 kids that crowd around the set.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard to watch on television. It's the opposite effect that the WWE has.
Like, I know who Theo Vaughn is. I know who Drewski is.
No idea who Drewski is.
They're all over these shows now. And it's just kind of like, I get what's happening. They're chasing that young audience.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. But in the chasing of the young audience, it's like, yeah, but there are people who still care about college football last time I checked.
So what I think is really interesting in comparing Game Day and Big Noon Kickoff, which is Fox's answer to Game Day. You're right. Like, you know, they are chasing the young audience. They are chasing a very online culture. Big Noon Kickoff is still doing the Tom Rinaldi.
The slow piano?
The slow piano piece. And it's like, all right, at least when he left ESPN didn't try to replace the Rinaldi thing on what is now not a show where that fits.
Yeah.
This is why, as bad as I think Game Day is compared to what it used to be, I think Big Noon Kickoff is just hopeless.
Sure.
Because they don't even know what they want to be at this point. And it comes to this tweet that went around last weekend when Drewski was on Big Noon Kickoff and Theo Vaughn was on College Game Day. And forgive me, I don't know who tweeted out, but it was just a simple question. Where do adults go to talk about college football now?
That's the kicker, which gets us to this clip. Where are the adults supposed to go to talk about college football on a game day? Because I'm watching this and it's just what Game Day has been bothering me. It's just, it's you and your boys.
Yeah.
Clearly you have your favorites and you're not going to speak on these things objectively.
Takes, but I think we still agree it's going to work. I think it will.
I guess what's the definition of it worked?
Getting up there, competing
we're looking at wins and losses, we're looking at championship, but then we need a window of time. Are we talking 3 seasons? We're talking 5 seasons? What are we talking?
Well, you made this point. North Carolina hasn't won the ACC since 1980. It's not like they've been winning championships.
Good points. Good point.
That's exactly right. But good coaches coach good players to play well. That's what good coaches do. So you got to give people an opportunity to get the kind of players they want in the program, then see if they can develop them to play the way they want, and then it's fair to make an evaluation.
So so hang on. By that definition, good coaches coach good players to play well. By that definition, we can all agree then Bill Belichick is a bad coach.
Agree. Now, while they're saying all this, they're at the Oregon game.
Right.
They're in Eugene, and on the set, you've got an Oregon helmet and an Indiana helmet. You can't sit here with a straight face and talk about, I need time. He needs to get his guys in. He needs his culture. Reese Davis dismissively talking. When's the last time UNC won an ACC championship? It's been since 1980. Again, the Indiana helmet is literally sitting right there. What is Indiana football? What was Indiana football?
Indiana football was probably the worst of the power conference programs year in and year out.
So in 2 years, we've established a culture, and the man's doing what James Franklin's been unable to do. It shows you that it's not about, well, you got to give it some time. No, that does not exist anymore.
I agree, which is why the only counter argument I would have, because I agree with you. The only counter argument I would have.
I hate to cut you off. Like I want to hammer this point. If Indiana football can do this as quickly as they did with a guy named Curt Cignetti,
right?
Then what's UNC's excuse?
Well, here's
like
why.
Giglio texted me when I'm driving back. He's like, "Wow, the answer to Triangle Good was in the backyard all along."
Yeah,
it was Curt Cignetti.
Yeah,
right. Like, come on.
This is what, like, the one thing I will say is that comment from Reese Davis is the closest thing to honesty you got in that, because had he followed it up with, "This is UNC making the same mistake over and over again," you hold Belichick and Lombardi accountable for this fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Right. And B, you acknowledge what the reality is, and maybe even give Indiana a little bit of credit. By the way, I didn't think about this until you pointed out where they were. For all of the protecting your boys that are going on, would Nick Saban have not done himself a favor to acknowledge, hey, the two coaches in this game, one was a longtime assistant for me, the other was my GA. Isn't that a better personal branding thing than let me cape for my best friend?
Brutal stuff, man. Brutal stuff. You know what else is brutal? Trying to like figure out money and things like that. I'm bad at it.
Agreed.
I'm bad at it. I'm so terrible at it. But you know who's really good at it? Chris Brassfield. Check him out, brassfieldaccounting.com. He's a fractional CFO. Kind of like you're a fractional podcaster here on OG Media.
Fair.
You come in. That's what I'm not going to call you a fill-in. I'm not going to call you. You're a fractional host.
That somehow feels worse.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize. But what Brassfield does is really, really good for you, the small business owner, especially if you work in an industry or you have a business that does dabble in or receive money through government grants. Those are things that the I's got to be dotted, the T's got to be crossed. You got to make sure that everything looks right as you prepare for tax season, right? And he's not going to do your taxes, but he's going to make sure that everything's good so that when it's time for taxes, there's no guesswork. So check them out, brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com in Homer, Alaska. Big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out online at bugsbite.com. It's like every weekend we have like rain and nor'easters and various other things, and that just adds to critters and mosquitoes and everything else. They can help you out with that. So check them out online at bugsbite.com. Again, that's bugsbite.com. Am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything.
No, that should be 12.
That 12? I did Blue and Blinds already. Miller, Happy Nail. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
There you go.
Boom. Did them all. Touch them all. Shout out to our corporate champions. Go support them because, as I've mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, the best way to support us as a podcast, as a company, is to support our corporate champions who support us. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. Let's go back to the sports. I took too much Celsius yesterday.
Took too much Celsius?
Yeah, I don't drink Celsius.
Okay.
I take Celsius.
Gotcha.
You put 200 milligrams of caffeine in your system, you're taking that. You ain't drinking that. You see what I'm saying?
Fair enough. I do start my morning every morning with a 5-hour energy.
I don't know how people do that. Like I got two dads on this team. It's like they are fueled by Monster.
Oof.
There's one dad who drinks the magnums of Celsius. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Right? Like the ones with like 300 milligrams to them. I had one because I was dragging. It was like last season I was dragging. And coffee wasn't kicking in. It was like one of these early morning games. Just, living the dream, man.
Yeah.
Living the dream. somewhere up in like the Hampton Roads area. And yeah, it was at Chilled Ponds actually. And I was like, dude, you got that thing on you? He's like, what? I was like, I know you got that thing on you. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Celsius. He's like, oh yeah, I got it in the van. Hold on. And he gave me the Magnum.
Yeah.
Like the big boy. I felt like my heart was going to jump out of my chest.
Right.
I'm like, how do you drink this all day?
That's our old buddy Crash.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot picture him without a Monster Energy drink in his hand.
How?
Dude. And at least when he was at 96 Rock, he was using Monster Energy drink to wash down truck stop speed.
Well, I mean, wow. Okay. I mean, at least Maniscalco would go through a sleeve of Coke Zero.
Oh, dude, like every commercial break we had.
Remember the station? Like he would clear out because again, back in the day at the radio station, we had a vending machine.
Yeah.
I think the vending machine is still there. I haven't been in the building obviously in 2.5 years, but the vending machine, it was a quarter.
Right.
It was like the one last perk we had.
I was about to say, it was literally the best part of doing a morning show.
It really was. It's like, like as time goes on, the perks go away. It's like the one thing that you will pry from my dead cold hands is that quarter soda machine. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Maniscalco hit that Coke Zero every break.
Oh, see, when we were working together, like he always had a fresh cup of coffee.
Okay.
Always.
Dude, he pound Coke Zeros, man. Fridge cigarette, man. Fridge cigarette. All right, let's go to an 828.
Hey, Joe. Jake, the Duke fan, calling in. Just wanted to thank you guys for your coverage from ACC Media Day. And I really loved the Shire interview. And I just want to just show some love to my head coach. I think last year was so heartbreaking and so tough for us. And I know, non-Duke fans don't feel sorry for us, whatever. But, the way John responded to your question about, this is your 99, of course, Kay had 2 titles at that point. And I think John's resilience in the fact of plenty of great coaches, never get back to the Final Four or never win their title, and nothing is guaranteed for John. But the fact that he's sometimes he seems a little bit glib to me, but I honestly at this point I totally trust him. He's not as raw and real and upfront as a Izzo or something like that, or Kay. But I just have full confidence that he is the right guy to have this job. I do expect this season we have a smaller margin for error. But I just the fact that he said, we lost to Houston. I think about it every day, et cetera. But I don't let that define the season. I think for fans and people who hate Duke, et cetera, the fact that we didn't win the Natty is kind of what is defining. But for him and the audience that really matters, which is the players and the recruits, they can't think like that. And I just love the way that John expressed that, that, we have to move forward. We have to learn from our mistakes. And every day is a new day. So I just love John Shire. How fucking lucky are we that this succession plan has gone how it has, because we have seen how it is absolutely falling apart after, the legends like Roy Williams, or Jay Wright, whatever, retire. So anyway, thanks for the conversation. And Mr. Ovies, it was great to meet you about a month ago at the Illinois game, and your wife. It's great to talk a little bit despite the result. But hey, Darian Mensah, Heisman campaign starts now. Thanks, guys.
That was a hot ass day at Wallace Wade. I actually was talking to a prominent college basketball insider recently about this, and I am bothered by the way we talk about John Shire, and Duke, in that it's been 3 seasons, and it's well, you haven't won a national championship yet. I mean, okay, and it's he literally just got there, number one, and things have been rolling. Not only that, let's add the context of you're replacing Mike Krzyzewski. Right. That's really easy to wilt. And the one thing I'll say about John Shire, I'll give you a positive and I'll give you something that I think he needs to work on. The one thing I really appreciate and respect about John Shire, and why I defend John Shire, is I have not encountered a more well-adjusted coach, given all the context of where he is and who he's following. I have not encountered a well-adjusted coach to that level. He gets it.
Yeah.
And that's as simple as you can say. It's like he gets it. And you have to allow for the guy to grow into the job in which he's already been incredibly successful at. ACC championships, getting to a Final Four, the recruiting classes, there's never been any sort of doubt. Like, they're rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a matter of when, not if, for John Shire in a national championship. Okay. The one thing that I'd be curious to see what happens is once he kind of, like I say, he's well adjusted, but I can also tell he's still very guarded about some stuff. Because again, I would be too.
Yeah, of course.
Gotten there. And this is, again, my own experience. You can lighten up a little bit. I get, we can joke. It's okay to joke around.
Yeah.
It's okay to joke around. So, but again, that comes with time. And I say that with empathy, knowing that, hey man, I ain't in that job.
Right.
I mean, that job of all the jobs,
right,
of all the jobs, given the context, was the most difficult position to be in.
Yeah.
And he has done an excellent job with it. And I truly appreciate how well adjusted he is in talking about these things. This is why I have the confidence that they're going to keep on cooking.
That being said, Ken Palm number 7, already a failure.
You know what? Get him out of there. You know, if only they had Nate Oates.
Oh, God.
All right. 804.
Hey, guys. I was listening to the mailbag and the discussion about the tournament, the basketball tournament growing. And while I don't really have a strong opinion on that either way, it did resonate with me what Giglio was saying about the health of college basketball and keeping it one of the premier sports and getting more eyeballs, getting more people to care, and not staying stagnant, just doing it because we have in the past. But I think what doesn't get talked about enough is moving the regular season start time to a one-semester sport and then having your premier MTEs at the beginning of the game, your Champions Classic or whatever, on New Year's Eve. Then you can have college football second round or whatever point we're at New Year's Day. And then while you're finishing up college football on the weekends, you can have your non-conference games during the weekdays and then start conference play after the Super Bowl. I just think that is what the college basketball's biggest issue is butting up against college football and the NFL on the weekends. And I just wonder what your thoughts are on why that wouldn't happen. Is it because ESPN and everyone wants their college basketball during the holidays? I don't know. I think that might do more for people caring about college basketball more than just those 3 weeks a year than expanding the tournament would do. Just wondering what your thoughts are.
So college basketball's got a couple of different problems. And before I address those problems, and scheduling and timing has a lot to do with it, you have to be comfortable, like I've become comfortable, of accepting college basketball being a niche sport.
It's a regional thing. And I mean, look, I think I said this last time we were together. Like, so is college football.
Yes.
College football just has the benefit of being football.
Exactly. So you have to understand that I'm coming at it from a baseline of college basketball is never going to be a national discussion ever. And there's all sorts of reasons why we got into that. And, there's, portal, and there's all sorts of stuff that go into that. But the calendar you can't do anything about the calendar because you have your football aspect, and you also have to make sure all this stuff is wrapped up by the Masters, because your television partner ain't taking the Masters off TV.
Right.
And you're not going to take a weekend off to make room for the Masters and then pick it back up again the following week. So now, if you wanted to get crazy, you move the calendar all the way that you get your alliteration, and instead of March Madness,
May Madness,
you have May Madness. That's the only solution, because what ends up happening there is that, what do you think people would rather watch? The opening rounds of shitty NBA and NHL 1 versus 8 playoff games, or March Madness?
I think NBA and NHL playoff games.
I disagree. It's a television show that people are going to be all in on.
Agreed. I think,
and there's actually even a way where you're wrapping all this stuff up in the early portions of May, as the regular seasons of the NHL and the NBA are wrapping up.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So maybe what you do is you just completely put it like when the Masters wraps, that's when you do your first 4. The Masters wrap, you got your winner. All right, let's kick it to Dayton.
Okay. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I
And then just go from there.
I don't hate the idea, the mechanism of it. I don't hate what you're saying. I think that the scope of college basketball, and really any sport but football is the only sport where you have big programs that just don't participate.
Sure.
So you're talking 360 something teams?
Something insane like that.
It's like the Star Wars universe in the way that there are things that happen in the exact same sport, in the exact same world that will never connect. And so as a result, the ACC, the SEC, Big Ten, all the way down to the Patriot League. They're all have a certain element of regionality that can never be overcome.
On that note, we'll close on this and we'll tease to our OG business.
Okay.
And we'll start OG business with this question, an answer to this question. When do you want to record OG business? Tomorrow? Thursday?
Thursday might be better for
me. All right, we'll do Thursday. So on Thursday, we'll drop OG business, and the question that will be answered is, who is the most glup shitto of college basketball?
Very good.
Since you're talking Star Wars universes,
yeah,
and all the people that are out there, who is the Bib Fortuna?
Okay.
Who is the Salacious Crumb? Who is
Max Rebo?
No. Who's the Lobot?
Oh, okay. Very good. I was just, Jesus Christ. I was just in a text conversation about Lobot yesterday.
All right. So we'll answer that question on the next OG business. Who is the glup shittiest of glup shittos in college basketball? We'll see you tomorrow.